Hello guys, welcome to another video. This one is paper 1-1 of October-November 2011 for ADMath. So with that being said, let's move on to question number 1. So here we have two sets, A and B, are given to you. So we have the number of elements in A is 15 and number of elements in B is 7. Question, find the greatest and the least possible values of this one and this one. So we have to draw the Venn diagram, the possible Venn diagram, to see what is the least and the max values. For example, the first possibility I can have is, we can have, so if B is less than A, we can have B as a subset of A. So let's draw that. So we have A as your big set, and B will be a subset which will be inside of A. Okay? B, we know it is 7, A is 15, so 15 minus 7 will be 8. That is one possibility. Now what is the other possibility? We can have A intersecting B is equal to the empty set. It means that the two sets do not meet. That is the other possibility. This is A and B. A is 15 and B will be 7. Okay, so here we have two possibilities. And from these two drawings, we have to find those two answers. So first one, find the number of elements in A intersecting B. We have, what is the greatest value? It will be 7. And the lowest value will be 0. Now for part 2, here we have the number of A union B. Now what is the greatest value? It will be 15 plus 7, that is 22. And the lowest value will be 8 plus 7, that will be 15. So that will be for part A of your question. Now for part B, in a Venn diagram, we have to draw three sets, P, Q, and R, such that P intersecting R is empty set, which means P and Q does not meet, and P union R is P. It means that R is inside of P. So let's draw this. So first we have to make a rectangle for our universal set. Okay, that is very important here to show the whole set. Now we have the first one, P and Q, they do not meet. That's the first thing we know. This is Q and this is P. And then we know that P union R is P, which means R is inside of P. Okay, and that will be your answer for question number 1. Now let's move on to question number 2. So here we have a function f of x is equal to 4x cubed minus 8x squared plus ax plus b, where a and b are constants. It is given that 2x minus 1 is a factor of this one. So that's the first information. So we know that 2x minus 1 is a factor. Now if you equate to 0, you have a value of x of half, which means f of half is equal to 0. So basically it means that if you were to divide by this factor, your remainder will be 0. That's the first equation we can have. Now replace the value of x by half. You will have 4 times half cubed minus 8 times half squared plus a times half plus b, and the remainder is 0. Now we have to simplify. 4 times 1 over 8 minus 8 times 1 over 4 plus a over 2 plus b is equal to 0. Now simplify. We have 4 that goes away. You have 2, 1 and 2. So you will have half minus 2 plus a over 2 plus b is equal to 0. Now we can try to simplify. So we have a over 2 plus b is equal to what? So half minus 2 is minus 3 over 2. If you send this over here, it becomes 3 over 2. Now we can try to multiply by 2 everywhere to eliminate the denominator. So you will have a plus 2b is equal to 3. And that is your first equation. Okay. Now let's find the other equation. So we have to use this information now. when f of x is divided by x plus 2, the remainder is 20. So we have x plus 2, which means equate to 0. The value of x will be minus 2. So f of minus 2 has a remainder of 20. So that is this equation. So replace the value of x by minus 2 in the main equation. You will have 4 times minus 2 power 3 minus 8 minus 2 power 2 plus a minus 2 plus b, and the remainder will be 20. Now we have to simplify. That is minus 8, that will be 4 minus 2a plus b is equal to 20. Now what else? This is minus 32 minus 32 minus 2a plus b is equal to 20. Now simplify. So minus 2a plus b is equal to 20 plus this 2, that will become plus 64, that will be 84. Now we can try to make b become your subject of formula. So b will be 84 plus 2a. That is my equation number 2. So here we have b as your subject of formula. We replace b in the first equation to find the value of a and b by solving this simultaneous equation. So here we have a plus 2 times b is equal to 3. Now let's see, what do we have? We have a plus, this is 168 plus 4a equal to 3. So 5a is equal to minus 165. From this you will have a is equal to what? Minus 33. That is your value for a. Now what is the value for b? Replace back in your equation. b is equal to 84 plus 2 times minus 33. So 84 minus 2, sorry, plus 2 times minus 33. That will be 18. So finally, the value of a is equal to minus 33, and the value of b will be 18. So using those two values, we have to answer the main question here is to find the remainder of f of x when divided by x minus 1. That's the main question. So let's do that. X minus 1 equate to 0. X is equal to 1. That is the value of x. So we have to find f of 1, which is equal to 4 of 1 cube minus 8 of 1 square plus 8. So a is minus 33 times x, which is 1, and plus 18 for the value of b. So let's solve. This is 4 minus 8 minus 33 plus 18. That will be minus 19. So finally your answer will be remainder is equal to minus 19. And that is your question number 2. Now let's move on to question number 3. So variables t and n are such that when log of t, log of n, is plotted against log of t, a straight line graph is passing through those 2 points are obtained. So we have 2 passing points given to us. Now part 1, express the equation of the straight line in the form of this, where m and c are constant to be found. Now if you observe, this looks a lot like y equal to mx plus c. Right. So by comparison, you will see that m is the gradient to be found and log of c is the y-intercept. So since we have 2 passing points already, which is 0.45 and 1.2 and 1 and 3.4, we can find the value of m, which is your gradient, by using our formula, right? So m is equal to y2 minus y1 over, this is x2 minus x1. Let's see what we have. So 3.4 minus 1.2, that will be 2.2, divided by 1 minus 0.45, that will be 0.55. Now simplify, 2.2 divided by answer, that should be 4. So the value of m will be 4. Replace back in your main equation, you will have y, so log of n is equal to 4 log of t plus log of c. Now we have to find the value of this. Okay, so to find this value, we just have to use one of those points. So let's use the point 1 and 3.4. 1 and 3.4. This is the value of log of t, and this is log of n. So how do I know what to choose? You look at your graph here. Usually that will be x, right? And that will be y. And the first point will be your x coordinate, but here we have log of t. So this one is log of t. And the other one will be your y, but here we have log of n, so we choose log of n. Now replace back in your main equation. You will have on one side 3.4 is equal to 4 times 1 plus log of c. Now replace log of c will be 3.4 minus 4, and that should be 0.6. And c is equal to 10 power 0.6. That is your value of c. Now replace back to your main equation. That will be log of n is equal to 4 log of t plus log of c is equal to 0.6 log of c. So that will be your equation of the straight line with a gradient of 4 and the y-intercept of 0.6. That is for part 1. Now for part 2, hence, whenever you see hence, it means using part 1, express n in terms of t. So we have to make n become your subject of formula. So how can we do that? So we have log of n equal to 4 log of t plus 0.6. 0.6 was log of c. C is 10 power 0.6, right? Now you have to understand, when we have the same logarithm on every side, we can combine them together, right? So here we have log of n, and here we can have log of t power 4. We can send the power on top, plus log of this value. Now if you want to combine them together, you will have on one side this, and on one side you will have t power 4 times 10 power 0.6. Now moving forward, these two can cancel out. So n will be equal to t power 4 times 10 power 0.6. So what is that value? Let's see. It is not exact, so let's leave it like that. So that will be your answer for n in terms of t. And that will be your question number 3. Now let's move on to question number 4. So we have 6 integers here, are to be formed using these numbers. We have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9. So each digit may be used only once. First one, find how many different 6-digit numbers can be formed. So from these numbers we have 2, then we have 3, 4, 5, 7, and 9. So from these numbers we would like to form a 6-digit number. So let's make 6 spaces for those 6-digit number. So first one, we don't have any restriction. So for this number here, we can choose any of them. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we have 6 choices. Let's say I choose 3. We'll put 3 here. Then for this one, I can choose the rest. We have 5 choices. Let's say I choose 4. So same steps. We have 4, 3, 2, 1. So multiply these values to find your answer. So 6 times 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. That will be 720. Okay, you can write this as your answer, or you can write just 6 factorial. Okay, that will give you the same answer as well. That is for part 1. So now for part 2, how many of these numbers are even? Okay, so as always, step by step. First, look at the number we have. We have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9. So now the question is, when is a number even? If it ends with an even number, only then it can be even, right? In that case here, we can only have 2 even numbers, as you can see, 4 and 6. So now if you want to form the numbers, again we have to make 6 spaces for the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So for it to be even, we only have 2 ways of ending the number. So we have 2 ways. We can choose 4 or 6. Let's say we choose 4. Okay. Now for the rest, we can choose anything else. So this one I will have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 choices. Let's say I choose 3. And this one I will have 1, 2, 3, 4 choices. Let's say I choose 5. And going on, same thing, 3, 2, 1. Multiply those numbers to find the number of numbers that is possible. That will be 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1 times 2. That will be 240 for your answer for part 2. Now for part 3, here we have the condition of being bigger than 500,000. Again, same steps. Look at the numbers that we have: 4, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9. Now for it to be bigger than 500,000, we have to begin with 5, 6, 7, or 9. That is the 4 options available. Now we can make our space just like before. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So to begin, we will have only 4 options. Let's choose 5, for example. Now the rest can be anything. So we can choose 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 options. Let's choose 3, and then we have 4 options. Choose this one, and then same thing going on. Okay, so multiply those numbers to find the number of different numbers. 4 times 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. That will be 480. This is your answer for part 3. Now moving on to part 4. So here it is it is different, a bit different, because we have 2 conditions, even and bigger than 500,000. So if you observe from the same list of numbers, we have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9. Now we have 2 even numbers, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4 numbers for which we can start for it to be more than 500,000. So whenever you have 2 conditions, you always do case by case. For example, first case, I can say, okay, let me use 4 as my ending number in my first number. So let's say first option is, I assume that it will end with a 4. Right, so I'll put my space. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I want this to be 4. I have only one 4, that is only one option. Now for it to be more than 500,000, I can choose, so 4 is gone, right? I can choose this. I have 4 options. Let's say I choose 5. Now for the rest, it will be the same way. I can, I have 1, 2, 3, 4 numbers remaining. So 4, 3, 2, 1. That is, multiply to find the number of numbers. So 4 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. That will be 96. Now the other option is, because it needs to be even, if I end with 4 with 1, for the other one I can only end with 6, because it needs to be even, right? So second option, if I end with a 6. So again, same steps. I have 6 boxes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And with 6, we have only one 6, so one option. Now, 6 is gone. Now we need it to be more than 500,000. We have one number, 2 and 3 options remaining. So 3. Let's say we use 5. And then for the rest, we can choose anything we want to. So here we have 1, 2, 3, 4 options. Then 3, 2, 1. Times. So 3 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. That will be 72. Okay, so now for the number of numbers, we have to add those 2. So 96 plus 72, that will be 168. So your answer will be 168. So just to recap, whenever you have 2 options, 2 conditions together in one question, you have to do them one by one, case by case, to find the number of possibilities. And that will be your question number 4. Now let's move on to question number 5. A particle moves in a straight line such that its displacement x from a point O at time t is given to you by this. Okay, for t is more than 0 and equal to 0. Now, part 1, find the velocity of t at time equal to 0. So something you need to know here is that how do you find v from x? V is equal to dx by dt. That will be 0 plus 2 cos 2t. So basically we have, from here we've seen, v is equal to 2 cos 2t. So we have to find the value of v when t equal to 0. So t equal to 0, v will be 2 cos 0. Let's see what is that. That is 2. So your answer will be 2 meters per second. Now let's move on to part 2. Find the value of t when the particle is at first at rest. So whenever you see at rest, it means that at v equal to 0. Okay? So we know what is v already from part 1. V is equal to 2 cos 2t equal to 0. So now we have to solve this equation to find the value of t. So cos 2t is 0. So 2t will be cos inverse of 0. Now what is cos inverse of 0? We can check. So if you want to find the exact value first, so cos inverse of 0, that is 90 degrees, which is basically pi by 2. Now t will be pi by 4 seconds. But if you want to write decimal place, you can do that as well. So pi by 4 is what? Is 0.785. So if you want to write decimal places, that will be your answer as well. Correct your 3SF. Now for part 3, find the distance traveled by the particle before it first comes to rest. So we know that it comes to rest at t equal to pi by 4. Okay, that's the first time it comes to rest. Now we want to find the distance traveled, not the displacement. We know x is the displacement equal to 3 plus sine 2t. Okay, so to find the displacement between those two times, so we have to know what is the initial distance, what is the initial position. Okay, initial position is when time is equal to 0. X when time is 0 will be 3 plus 0, and that is 3. That is the initial position. And now we have to find the position when time equal to this. So x when time equal to pi by 4. That will be, replacing this equation, you will have 3 plus sine of 2 times t. Okay, that is 1, 2. So what is sine of 90? Let's check. Sine of 90 degrees. That'll be 1. So 3 plus 1 is 4. Okay, so this is your final position. That is your initial position. So distance traveled will be 4 minus 3. That will be 1 meters. Okay, that is part 3. Now for part 4, find the acceleration of the particle. Now, to find acceleration, we have to find dv by dt. So we know v is equal to what? 2 cos 2t. Now what is dv by dt? Let's see. That should give you, that will be 2 is a multiple. Differentiate this number, this fraction, this expression here. That will give you a minus sine 2t times 2. Become minus 4 sine 2t. Now we have to find the value of a when t is equal to this. So when t is equal to 3 pi by 4. That will be minus 4 sine 2 times 3 pi by 4. So minus 4 sine. So we have 2 times 3 pi over 4. We have to use radians. That will be 4. So your answer is 4 meters per second square. Okay, and that will be your question number 5. Okay, now let's move on to your question number 6. So here we have a tan graph, shows part of this graph, okay? passing through the passing point. We have 1 point, 2 point, and 3 points. So we have to find the values of P and Q using those points. So pretty easy. So one by one. So we can first find the value of P from this. So we have, this is your X and your Y, right? Replace here, you will have minus 5 equal to P plus 3 tan 3x minus pi over 12. So what is that value? So 3 tan of 3 times minus pi over 12. That will be minus 3. So we have minus 5 equal to P minus 3. So P will be equal to minus 2. That is the first value. Now your new equation will be equal to Y equal to minus 2 plus 3 tan 3x. But now we have to find the value of Q. So we have to use this point. This is your point Q1. That will be your X and your Y. Okay. Now replace back in the equation. Y is equal to 1 minus 2 plus 3 tan X is 3Q. Now solve. This will be 1 plus 2 is 3 is equal to 3 tan 3Q. So tan of 3Q is equal to 1. So 3Q will be tan inverse of 1, which is pi by 4. You can check. So tan inverse of, let's use degrees so you can know. 1 is 45 degrees, which is pi by 4. Now Q will be this divided by 3. That will be pi by 12. That is your value of Q. So you want to find this value, Q, and the value of P. Okay, and that is for part 1. Now for part B, it is given that f of x is this equation where a and b and c are integers. Integers are whole numbers, okay? The maximum value of f is given by 11 and the minimum value of f is given by 3. The period of f is 72 degrees. So let's first find the period. It's easy, right? So we have f of x first is equal to a cos bx plus c. So first thing we know that the period, so period t is equal to 72 degrees. But how do you find the period? So whenever you have a cos or a sine function, we take 360 divide by this value here. Before your x, we take this divide by b. That should give you 72. Now we have to make b become your subject of formula. So b will be 360 divided by 72. That will be 5. So value of b will be 5. Okay, that is the first thing. So right now our equation looks like f of x is equal to a cos 5x plus c. Now something you have to know is that what is the maximum value of this expression? So cos of 5x can only be between 1 and minus 1. It is the same for sine of any angle as well. It is only between minus 1 and 1. So if you want to have a maximum value, we know that at maximum value of 11, a times has to be maximum value will be 1 plus c. So we have 11 is equal to a plus c. That is our first equation. Now at the minimum value is 3, so 3, it is possible when cos of 5x will be at the minimum value, that will be minus 1. So you will have 3 is equal to minus a plus c. That is 1, that is number 2. Now we have to simplify. So what can we do here? We can do by substitution, or you can just plus those to 1 plus number 2. You will have 14 is equal to 0 plus 2c. So c will be 7. And from this you can find the value of a. A will be 11 minus 7, that is 4. Okay, so your answers will be a is 4, c is 7, and b is equal to 5. Now these are your three values that you need to find for the integer values, okay? Now will be your question number 6. Let's move on to question number 7. The coefficient of x squared in this expansion is given by this number, so we have to find the value of n, where n is a positive integer. So one by one, how would you find the coefficient of x squared? So we have to expand this expression. So there will be n choose something that we don't know yet. The first one is 1, and then we have x over 5. So for us to get x squared, we have to have 2 here, and since this is 2, this has to be 2 as well, and n minus 2 will be right here. So we have n choose 2, anything power 1, so 1 power anything will be also 1 times x squared over 25. Now that will become n choose 2 over 25 x squared. Now the coefficient of x squared will be this number here is equal to this number. So here we have an equation. So write down n choose 2 over 25 is equal to 3 over 5. Now simplify. That will be 1, that will be 5, then we cross multiply, you will have n choose 2 is 15. Now what is n choose 2? This will be a formula given to you as well in your list of formulas. That will be n factorial over n minus 2 factorial times 2 factorial, which is equal to n factorial over n minus 2 factorial times 2. So this can be divided by this. You will have n times n minus 1 on top, and this will be 2. So here this is become n minus 1. So we have 2 here, multiply, cross multiply, you have 30. So you have n squared minus n minus 30 equal to 0. So here you will have n times n. This is 30, so that will be 6, 5. That will be minus 6 plus 5. So the only value we'll take is n equal to 6. Okay, that is the value of n. Now just to explain how did I get this, so let's do this on the log. So here we have some space. So we have n factorial over n minus 2 factorial times 2 factorial, right? Now what is n factorial? It is n times n minus 1 times n minus 2 times n minus 3 times n minus 4. Keep going on until the value of 1, right? So before this, we want to stop right here, n times n minus 1, and we want to stop right here, that is this value. Now we can replace this value by this. So on top you will have this divided by n minus 2 factorial times 2 factorial. Now as you can see, these two are the same, they can cancel out. So you will have n times n minus 1 over 2. That's why we have this value here, and then you can simplify to this value of n. So for this value here, we have to expand and find the term which is independent of x. So one by one, let's first expand this one. That will become 4 minus 12 over 4 plus 9 over x squared. Now we have to expand this one. The value of n is equal to 6. So we just need to expand to the term in x squared because we need that to be cancelled out, but the rest is fine, right? So that will be, first term will be 6 choose 1. So 6 choose 0. 1 and x over 5. That will be 0. That will be 6. That will be 1. And then we have the second term will be 6 choose 1. That will be x over 5. That will be 1. And that will be 6. So that will be 6x over 5. And then we have the other term will be this one given to you, which is 3 over 5 times x squared. So we have to multiply this by this. So let's do that. So first 1 times this will be 4, and this times this will be 6 over 5x times minus 12 over x. X will cancel, and plus 3 over 5 x squared times this one, 9 over x squared. So these two will also cancel. So simplify. 4 plus 6 over 5 times minus 12 plus 3 over 5 times 9. That will be minus 5. So your answer is minus 5 for the term independent of x in this expansion. And that will be your question number 7. Let's move on to question number 8. So we have to find the integration of this term, hence evaluate this one. So step by step, how are you going to find this one? So you can always expand. If you don't know how to do that, we can just first expand this whole thing and then do one by one. So let's say that will become 2x plus 2e power x plus 1 dx. And that will be exponential 2x over 2 plus 2 exponential x plus x and plus c. That will be for the first part. And hence using that value to find this one. So plus 1 square dx will be the same thing, which is 2x over 2 plus 2 this and this between the limits of 2 and 0. So first replace the value of x by 2. You will have 4 over 2 plus 2 plus 2 minus 0. That will become exponential 0 will be 1 over 2 plus 2 plus 0. Now we have to simplify. So you will have exponential power 4 over 2 plus 2 exponential 2 plus 2 minus, what is this number? This will be 5 over 2. So simplify, you will have exponential 4 over 2 plus 2 exponential 2, and this minus this will be what? So let's try 2 minus 5 over 2, that will be half, minus half. Now we can take half out. You will have this plus 4 exponential 2 minus 1. And that will be your answer for part A. Now for part B, we have a curve is such that dy by dx is equal to this one. Now given that the curve passes through the point, this, find the equation of the curve. So whenever you ask for the equation, is to find the value of y. So y is equal to integration of dy by dx. So let's do that. So y is integration of dy by dx, which is this function with respect to x. Now first thing to do is to increase the power by 1. That will become half. Then divide by the power. Then multiply, divide by the differentiation of the inside. That will be 4. Of course we have to write plus c. That will be cancelled out 2. So you will have this 4x plus 1 over 2 plus c for your value of y. But now we have to find the value of c by using this information, which is the point 2 and 4.5. It's x and y. So y will be 4.5. Okay, and then x will be 2. That will be 9 over 2 plus c. That will be 9. So, sorry, that's not good. Let me try again. If you multiply by 2 everywhere, you will have 9 equal to 3 plus 2c. So 2c will be 9 minus 3. That will be what? 6. From this you will have c is 3. That is your value of c. So finally y, which is the equation you need to find, is root of 4x plus 1 divided by 2 plus 3. And that is your answer for question number 8. Let's move on to question number 9. So we have to solve this equation. So 1 plus cot square x equal to 8 sine x. So what do you know about cot square x? Let's have a look at your list of formulas. You will see what you have. So here we have an equation here, which is this one. So here we have 1 plus cot square x, which is equal to cosec square x is equal to 8 sine x. Now what is cosec? You have to know cosec square x is equal to 1 over sine square x. Replace that back here, you will have 1 over sine square x is equal to 8 sine x, and that is of course over 1. Now we have to cross multiply. You will have 8 sine cube x is equal to 1. Now sine cube x is equal to 1 over 8, which makes sine x becomes cube root of 1 over 8. That will be 1 over 2. Now x will be sine inverse of half, which is 30 degrees. And since the value of sine is positive, it will be in your first quadrant and in your second quadrant. This is the value of, and this is 180. So x can be 30, but also it will have to be 150. And that is your answer for part 1. Now for part 2, we have to solve this equation. So here we have the angles are the same, 2y minus this, 2y minus this. So first thing we can do here is we can let y, because it can be confusing, let 2y minus 0.3 equal to x. For now, you have 4 sine of x plus 5 cos of x is equal to 0. Now when you have cos and sine in the same function, you have to divide by cos of x. So you can have 4 tan of x plus 5 equal to 0. So simplify, tan of x will be minus 5 over 4, right? Now if tan is negative, you know that by your quadrants, it has to be in your second quadrant and your fourth quadrant. This is 180 minus theta, and this is 360 minus theta. Or you can write pi minus theta or 2 pi minus theta. So first let's find the value of theta. Theta is not the same as x. Theta will be tan inverse of the positive value of this. So here we have to use radians, as you can see, radians. That will be 0.896. Okay, now from this point we can have to find the value of x. X is equal to, according to your quadrants, the first one is pi minus this value. So take pi minus 0.896, that will be 2.25, or it can be 2 pi minus the value 0.896, that will be 5.39. So now x is not what we are trying to find. We are trying to find the value of y, right? So that will be 2y minus 0.3 is equal to 2.25 and 5.39. Now if you go back to your domain is given by y. If you make this, let's make this 2y first. That will become 2.55 and 5.69. So 2y will be between what values? If you can check, that will be still 0. But pi is what value? Pi times 2, that will be 6.28. So these two values will be still inside the range, so that is good. Now we can just find the value of y. So y will be 2.55 divided by 2. That will be 1.28, and 5.69 divided by 2. That will be 2.85. So these two will be the values for your value of y. And that will be your question number 9. Now let's move on to question number 10. So in the main question here, you will see this region has been shaded for you. So this. So this is the shaded region. Okay. Now let's see what are the questions. The figure shows a sector ABC, so A, B, and C, of a circle center C, and radius 2r. This is the radius of the big sector 2r, where the angle ABC is 3 pi radians. So 3 theta radians. That's the big angle. Now the points D, E, F, and G lie on the arc of the circle. So D, E, and then F, G. Okay. Now what else? The points D and G are midpoints of CA and CB. So these two are midpoints. so this is R and R basically. Okay, now what else? We have the angles DCE and FCG are each theta radians. So these angles here are theta radians. Now, the area of the shaded region is 5 centimeters square. So we have to use that information for our questions. Let's see. So by first expressing theta in terms of R, show that the perimeter P of the region is given by this. Okay, so let's do this one by one. So from the first part here, you have one information which is the most important. It says the area of the shaded region is equal to 5 centimeters square. But how would you find that region? Let's have a look. So you can break this down into two parts to find that area. You can first find this one, the big one, and find this one. You can first find A, and then we can find the area of B. So how would you find the area of A? We can first find the area of the whole sector, everything, minus the area of the small sector to find A. So let's do that. So finding the area of A, the whole area minus area of sector DCG. Okay, the whole area is also a sector, so we have to use the formula here, which is half R square will be 2R square, that's the radius, and the angle is 3 theta. Area of sector, that will be what? Half, radius is R square, and angle is also the same. And that should give you the area of A, right? A. So let's simplify. So we have half times 4R square times 3 theta minus half times R square times 3 theta. So here we have 6 R square theta minus 3 over 2 R square theta. That is the area of A. Now let's move on to find the area of B. How would you find the area of B? Observe, B can be found by, you can first, so we know this is the radius R, and this is the angle theta, so pretty easy. B is simply area of sector ECF. So that will be half R square angle theta. Okay, so from this we can find the area of the region. Area will be A plus B, which is 6 R square theta minus 3 over 2 R square theta plus half R square theta, supposed to give you 5. Now we have to express theta in terms of R. So make theta become your subject of formula. So first step, let's multiply everywhere by 2 so we can eliminate the denominator. You will have 12 R square theta minus 3 R square theta plus R square theta. That is 10. Now simplify. 12 minus 3 is 9 plus 1 is 10. So we have 10 R square theta is equal to 10. Simplify. So theta will be equal to 10 divided by 10 R square. So that will be 1 over R square. That is your value of theta in terms of R. That is for part 1. Now let's move on to the other question. So we have to find the perimeter P of the region. So using this value of R, this value of theta, we have to find the perimeter. So how do you find the perimeter? So we have to find the distance around. So first we have to find this distance. This is the length of arc, which is found by the formula R times theta. R is 2R, and the angle is 3 theta. That is the length of AB. Now we have to find the length of this one. That is R theta, and this one, that is also R theta, and this will be just, so this is R and R. So the perimeter will be 6 R theta plus these two, That will be 2r theta and plus 2r. So you will have 8r theta plus 2r. So let's write this down. Perimeter is found to be 8r theta plus 2r. But now we have to replace the value of theta here by this one. You'll have 8r times 1 over r square plus 2r. That will be 8 over r plus 2r. And this is not shown as required because, let me see, we have made a mistake somewhere. This one is r, because, oh yes, we forgot 2 points. We forgot these two. Yeah, so we forgot these two sides. This is also r and r. So plus 2r again. Has to be 8r theta plus 4r. Okay, so we forgot these two sides. So these two plus this. Okay, so that's why it is not 2 here. It should be 4. And now this is shown as required. Okay, same as part 1. Now part 2, given that r can vary, show that the stationary value of p can be written in the form of this, where k is a constant to be found. So pretty easy. So since we have p is given by 8 over r plus 4r, this can be written as 8r minus 1 plus 4r. Now we have to find the stationary value of p. So we know at stationary value, we know that we know that dp by dr is equal to 0. So first find dp by dr. So dp by dr is equal to what? That will be 8r. So first times minus 1, the power, then minus 2, plus 4r square. That will be dp by dr. Right. Sorry, this will become 4, not r square. I just did an integration. We have to differentiate. So let's try again. So just make it simple for you guys. So we have dp by dr will be, first thing we have to multiply by d power. That will become minus 1 times 8 will be minus 8. Then we have to minus 1 to the power. That become minus 2. Then this one will become just 4. So your answer will be minus 8 over r square plus 4. That is your dp by dr. Now we have to equate that to 0. So minus 8 over r square plus 4 equate to 0. Multiply by r square everywhere to eliminate the denominator. That will become minus 8 plus r square over equal to 0. Now let's bring this back to the next part. Let me find some space for this one. Let's do this here. So right now we have minus 8 plus 4r square equal to 0. So 4r square is equal to 8. So r square is equal to 2. So r will be root of 2. That is your value of r. So that is your value of r that we need to find. But we have to find the value of p. So we know p is equal to 4r plus 8 over r. Okay, that will be 4 times r is root 2 plus 8 over root of 2. Now we can rewrite this in a way. So what can we do now? We can write 8 as a square root. So 8 can be written as square root of 64. Right, that will be 4 root 2 plus root of 64 over 2. That will be 1, and that will be 3, 2. So you will have 4 root 2 plus root of 32. Now what is 32? It is equal to 8 times 4, right? Or you can have, let's see what else we can have. 16 times 2, even better, right? So you will have 4 root 2 plus 16 times 2 for the square root. Now simplify, you will have 4 root 2 plus 4 root 2. That will be 8 root 2. Okay, that is the stationary value of p. Now comparing with the on the question here, we have to find the value of k. So k is equal to 8 from this. K is equal to 8. Now let's move on to question part 3. Determine the nature of this value and find the value of theta at which it occurs. Okay, so one by one. The nature of its value. So the nature of that will be, we have to find d2p by dr2. So first we know, what do we know? We know that dp by dr is given by what? By minus 8 r minus 2 plus 4. So this will become, first we have to multiply by the power, that is going to be 16, and then minus 1, and that will become 0. So you will have 16 over r cubed. Now since we know that at d2p and dr2, for the value of r equal to root 2 is going to be a positive value, that has to be a minimum value of p. So write down, since d2p and dr2 is more than 0, the stationary value of p is a minimum value. So now next thing is we have to find what? We have to find the value of theta for which it occurs. Okay, so going back, we know r is equal to this one. So going back to your main equation from part 1, as we have seen here, theta is equal to 1 over r squared. So from this, theta will be 1 over root 2 square. 1 over 2, and that will be 0.5, and that is your answer for theta. And that is your question number 10. So now let's give it a try to do the other questions. So here it is also a circular measure question. As you can see, we have a sector. So figure shows a sector OAB of a circle, center O, and radius 10. So this is 10, and this is also 10. And this is also 10 because it is the radius, right? Now we have a circle center C of radius r touches the arc AB, okay, at the point D right here, and the lines OA and OB are tangents to the circle at the points E and F respectively. Now part 1, write down in terms of r the length of OC. So whenever you see write down, it means it is pretty easy and we should be able to see the answer directly. Now if you observe, OC will be this line. OC is this one. So how would you find the length of OC? Now if you observe, OD is equal to what value? OD is the same as the radius, it is 10. And CD is the radius of the circle, this is r. So OC has to be 10 minus r. So the first one will be, write down will be 10 minus r. That is OC. Now for part 2, hence meaning using the value from part 1, show that r is equal to this value. So if you read the question properly, it tells you that the lines OA and OB are tangents to the circle, so they meet at this point. So if you were to connect the point C to your point E, this will give you a right angle triangle. And this is of course the radius r. Now we have this right angle triangle, and we have to use that to find something in terms of sine. So sine is what? Sine, you would say, it is the opposite side over your hypotenuse. So sine theta will be equal to, opposite side will be r, over the hypotenuse will be OC, which is 10 minus r. So we have this thing. Now we have to make r become the subject of formula. So let's do that. So first thing, cross multiply, you will have 10 sine theta minus r sine theta equal to r. So send this over here, you will have r sine theta plus r equal to 10 sine theta. Now again, factorize r outside, you will have r 1 plus sine theta is equal to 10 sine theta. r is equal to 10 sine theta divided by 1 plus sine theta. And this is exactly as shown here, shown as required. Now for part 3, we have given that theta can vary. Find dr by d theta. So we have to find the differential of this fraction. So right now we have r is equal to 10 sine theta over 1 plus sine theta. So we have to find dr by d theta. So as you can see, this one is a fraction, so you have to use your quotient rule. Okay, first write down the denominator as it is, then multiply by dx of this one. That will give you 10 cos theta, then minus, then write down the numerator as it is. That will be 10 sine theta times d by dx of the base. That will become cos theta, and all this divided by the base square. Okay, so let's simplify to see what happens. So on top you will have 10 cos theta sine, so cos theta, so let's just do this one, plus 10 cos theta. It's the same thing, right? So this time this and this time this, same thing, and then minus 10 sine theta cos theta, and all this, that will be over this one, 1 plus sine theta square. Now if you observe, these two will cancel out, so you will have remaining 10 cos theta over 1 plus sine theta square. That will be your dr d theta. Now we have to find this value when r is equal to 10 over 3. So let's find that. So let's see here. Okay, so you see this equation. When r is equal to 10 over 3, we have 10 over 3 is equal to 10 sine theta over 1 plus sine theta. Okay, now we just have to find the values of those two to replace to find this value. So let's see how can we do that. Okay, so if you were to simplify that, let's try to first simplify. You will have, so let's write this down again here. You will have 10 over 3, 10 sine theta over 1 plus sine theta. Okay, so 10 cancel out. You will have 1 plus sine theta is equal to 3 sine theta. Now we send this over here. You will have 2 sine theta is equal to 1. So sine theta is equal to half. Okay, so now we know this value is half, so which is this value here is half, but we have to know the value of cos theta. So in this case, we can use a triangle to find the value of cos theta. So if you observe, this is a right angle triangle. This is your value of theta. And what is sine? Sine is your O side on your H side. So H is here, O is here. Now what is this side? We have to use SOHCAHTOA. No, sorry, yeah, we have to use actually Pythagoras theorem. So 2 square minus 1 square will be this 1 square. That will be, so let's write this down. This is, let's call this one A, B, and C. So we know that 2 square is equal to AC square plus 1 square. So AC square will be 4 minus 1, which is 3. AC will be root of 3. This is root of 3. So from this we can derive cos theta is equal to your A side, which is root of 3, over 2. Now since you have those two values, now you can replace back in the main equation. So dr by d theta is equal to 10 times cos theta, which is this, over 2, divided by 1 plus sine theta square. Now simplify. This is 1, this is 5, 5 root 3 divided by, what is this value? So 1 plus half square, that will be 2 and 1/4. Now if you want to simplify, let's try that. 5 divided by answer, that will be 2. So let's try again. So if you expand this, that will give you 5 over root 3 divided by what value? So 2 times this plus 1, that will be 9 over 4 times 4, that will be 20 root 3 over 9. That will be the value for dr by d theta at r equal to the value of 10 over 3. Okay, so we have to use some kind of triangle to find those two values and then replace to find the right value. Okay, that will be for part 3. Now the last one is given that r is increasing at this rate, which is given dr by dt is 2, find the rate at which so we have to find d theta by dr when theta equal to this value. So we have to form an equation here. Given that dr by dt is equal to 2, we have to find d theta by dt when theta is pi by 6. So how do you find this by dt? It is equal to d theta times something over dt, and those two will be related by dr. So from dr by d theta, we know this already from here. This is 2, so we have to find this. So we have to find d theta by dr at theta equal to pi by 6. So if you look back at our main equations here, dr by d theta is equal to this. Okay, so let's write this down. We know that so it was dr by d theta. Okay, so dr by d theta was equal to 10 cos theta over 1 plus sine theta square. So basically d theta by dr, we just have to flip this upside down. That will become 1 plus sine theta square over 10 cos theta. So we have to find this value at theta equal to pi by 6. Now what is pi by 6? So pi is 180, sorry. Pi is 180 divided by 6, that will be 30 degrees. So let's replace. You will have 1 plus sine of 30 is 0.5 square over 10. Cos of 30 will be root 3 over 2. So now we just have to simplify. 1.5 square, that will be 2.25, that is 9 over 4 divided by 10 root 3 over 2. That will be 1, 5. Now simplify, you will have 9 over 4 multiplied by, this is 1, 5 root 3. So that will give you 9 over 20 root 3. This value, right? Now let's go back to the main equation. So d theta by dt, that will be given by d theta by dr is 9 over 20 root 3 times the value of 2. So cancel out, that will be 1, 10, that will be 9 over 10 root 3. And that is your answer for part 4 of the question. So that will be the last question of this paper. I hope that was somewhat helpful. As always, thank you for watching, and I will see you soon.